What is up, everyone? Coach Corey Martin here to talk to you about backspin and how I look at that metric in my training. Let's take a look at a pitcher here. He's actually a converted catcher from a catcher. So one thing I've noticed about catchers is they tend to have very high spin directions. Thinking about a throw down to second, you don't want much run, you don't want much tail on that. You want a relatively high spin direction. I do see that trend with catchers. So this pitcher has a very high percentage of backspin. That's why we're going to look at him. Spin direction on this fastball is almost right at 12 o'clock. That's why if you look at the backspin metrics on the pitchLogic, 1,669 RPMs of that 1,851 total are accounted for backspin, compared to only 164 for side spin. And backspin on a fastball is most likely going to read as a positive number, meaning if the spin is pushing the ball upwards, then the backspin readings are going to read as a positive number, compared to on a curveball, when it's topspin, you're going to see a negative reading on the backspin RPMs. Also, backspin is directly related to vertical movement, whereas side spin is directly related to horizontal movement. So if you look at 1,669 RPMs of backspin, that accounts for 19 inches of vertical movement on this fastball. That lift effect, if there was zero gravity affecting this pitch, it would rise 19 inches by the time it reaches the home plate. Let's look at a different pitch. And the cool thing about this, too, is the video capture feature. Capture most all of these throws. Here's another fastball. Arm slot drops just a little bit here, maybe because we're on flat ground, and therefore the spin direction goes from 12 o'clock on the previous pitch down to 12:30 on this one. That's why the backspin to side spin ratio is a little bit lower on this pitch compared to the one that we were just looking at. More side spin here and less backspin compared to the previous pitch. I'll go back so you can see that comparison in real time. So this was the 12 o'clock spin direction, almost 1,700 RPMs of backspin compared to 164 side spin. Spin direction drops a little bit towards 12:30. Now we're down to 1,570 on the backspin and up to 566 on the side spin. So here's what happens if a curveball is thrown. That positive reading on backspin is then going to read as a negative number. So minus 1,263 RPMs of backspin on this pitch. What that's telling you is that this is really 1,263 RPMs of topspin. That's how I would break that down. Spin direction here is more towards 7 o'clock than 6 o'clock. That's why there is quite a bit of side spin on this pitch as well, but still a decent amount of vertical movement, so negative 16 inches, which once again tells you that that is from side spin. So these are just a couple examples of how to look at and how to gauge backspin as a coach or a player if you're looking at the pitchLogic app.